Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
To all our viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda. I'm your host, Fuad Muhammad. Well, today on the show we welcome a special personality all the way from Houston, Texas of the United States of America. He's the Vice President of Al-Maghrib Institute. He's also a member of the Fatwa Committee of the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of the United States of America, Sheikh, or should I say, Dr. Walid Bassiouni. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor, and welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Fuad, for having me with you tonight.
Okay, just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers, 00-202-38555, 248 or 249, or you can write to us at ask@huda.tv. Okay, Dr. Walid, we have our first question here from Sister Shafia from Nigeria, and she wants to know if it's okay for someone to recite Surah Al-Fatiha and just the words Alif Lam Mim, or should I say the letters Alif Lam Mim in one rak'ah.
And that she mean that will be sufficient.
Yes, if this is sufficient for the rak'ah.
Okay. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. All praise due to Allah, and His praise and blessings and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As for this questions, would it be sufficient, would this prayer will be acceptable if a person will recite Surah Al-Fatiha and only Alif Lam Mim? Yes, the salah will be sufficient. Yes, that will be acceptable prayer. But I'm just wondering why Alif Lam Mim? I mean, if this is the only thing she memorized, or she's in rush, or what exactly the reason? The person should really take care of the salat. And we don't treat the salat like this, okay? Just Alif Lam Mim, I did, I done, I'm out. So many of the Muslim jurists required at least minimum of 3 verses. There is no such proof to support that. But the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, generally speaking, he said, he said to the man who taught him how to pray, he said, read with whatever available or you are familiar with. So he gave a very general statement, ma tayassar, whatever you can read, even if it is basically 1 verse, the salat will be sufficient. But the Muslim jurist recommended for the person, the minimum it should be at least 3 verses. And I recommend this sister and all the Muslims, when they pray, they try their best to perform the prayer in the best manner, and also to try to read new verses. You should memorize verses and try to practice reading these verses during your salat, so you will keep your memory fresh and you will enjoy the salat more. Allah knows best.
Okay, Muhammad from Qatar, he says, can you please advise a family who will be migrating to Canada with regards to buying property and settling in?
Actually, I'm not a real estate agent to tell you exactly what property to buy, advise you in regard to this. But I can advise you related to what I'm special in my specialty, which is the religion. First of all, I would like to say this is a big step, moving from the Middle East or Muslim country to the West or to the non-Muslim country. This is a big step the person taking in his and her life. And my advice will be to you that make sure, brother, to you and your family are ready for this step by preparing yourself not only financially and thinking about the home, that you have the knowledge that will protect you from so many doubts Muslim might be exposed to during their lifetime in the West. And also you have a religion that will protect you also from falling on the desires or fulfilling your desires in a haram way, in a forbidden way. Make sure that you think about this, how you will protect yourself and your family, and you protect your religion, protect your deen. And my advice will be, if you ever want to buy a property or looking for a house, make sure that you live close by an Islamic center, a masjid, a Muslim community, a good Muslim community, even the masjids, a good Islamic center where they have activity, services to the community, because not all the masajid Islamic centers in the West are the same. Make sure that you live close by someone of Ahlul Ilm, person has knowledge, has authentic knowledge, that you will learn from him the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you protect your deen, because that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing to care about and to be worried about, to protect. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you tawfiq, ya Rab.
Okay, Brother Abu Hafaz, he wants to know if there is a difference between the prayers Shuruq and Ad-Duha.
There is a difference between the prayer of Shuruq or Ad-Duha. As for the prayer of Ad-Duha, there is several narrations were narrated related to Salat Ad-Duha. Like, for example, that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that every Muslims should offered a 360 plus charity every day, and will be sufficient. And then he gave an example, not charity, it means only money, but smiling at your brothers, helping your brother. That will be all considered form of charity. But the Prophet in the end, he said, and will be sufficient for such person to pray 2 rak'ah at al-duha, which is the daytime. Basically, it is about, let's say, 20 or 30 minutes before dhuhr and 10 minutes after the sunrise. That's called al-duha time. He said if you pray 2 rak'ah during that time, that will be sufficient, as if you offer the 360 plus charity. And other narrations as well. As for al-shuruq, there is a hadith been reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever pray Fajr, then he stayed until the sunrise, then he would pray 2 rak'ahs, as if he will take the ajr of a person who have performed Umrah, a perfect Umrah. This hadith, which is reported by Tirmidhi, there is a debate about the authenticity of it. I personally don't believe it's authentic, but a lot of scholars, it's very famous. So the person, if he prayed, there is no harm, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for it. Can you join both intention, these 2 rak'ahs for shuruq to be al-duha? Yes, it is basically permissible.
Okay, we have Brother Saif from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Walaikum salam. How are you all?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, last week actually I asked one question. I think there was some mistake in my question was regarding Yajuj and Majuj.
Okay.
Will they occupy only the area or the continent in which they're going to come out, or like they can go across the seas and occupy the whole world?
Okay.
And apart from that, at the time of the Mahdi, it says that he will fill the world with prosperity and goodness and justice. But his time is, I think, simultaneously with the Dajjal as well.
Okay.
So, and in the time of the Dajjal, it will be opposite, because people will go to tremendous suffering. So how do you...
So what exactly is your question, Brother Saif?
The question is, how can these both situations be at the same time?
Okay.
That's my question. Do I have one more?
Okay, go ahead.
Small. Why is the reason that the Imams don't talk about the Dajjal as the Hadith says? Is it because the government does not allow talking about Khilafat like nowadays?
Okay.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Brother Saif there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We also have Brother Rashid from Somalia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please.
My question is, what is the role of Islam in the democratic elections? Because the election is continuing here in Somalia.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. That's Brother Rashid there from Somalia. Brother Abu Hafaz from Qatar also wants to know, do you have to make a farewell tawaf in Umrah?
The farewell tawaf in Umrah, the strongest opinion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, that it is not obligated. And it will be highly recommended for somebody who would stay for a very long time in Mecca. But it's not obligated. And there is, as I said, a different opinion about it. But inshallah, the strongest opinion that there is not obligated on Umrah to do the Tawaf al-Wada', the farewell Tawaf.
Okay, and Brother Muhammad from UAE, he says he has a problem. This is it. He wants to know what exactly to do when it comes to the witr prayer. He says most nights he get up for tahajjud, and he delays the witr prayer when he gets up for tahajjud. But some days he sleep through the night, and these days he missed praying the witr. So he wants to know if he can pray 2 witr in the same night to be on the safe side.
As for praying 2 witrs in the same night, no. The answer is no, even for this reason. Even if you say, just I want to be on the safe side. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, no, a person should not pray 2 witrs in one night. But the solution for this brother will be that first of all I would like to say Jazakallah khair for trying your best to make Qiyam al-Layl. That's an excellent habit to develop. And one of the great scholars of Islam is named Sufyan al-Thawri. It's been reported that he once said that I struggled with Qiyam al-Layl 20 years. I make the intention to make Qiyam al-Layl, but I miss it sometimes. I did not enjoy it the way I was supposed to. I was thinking, but he said after that I enjoyed Qiyam al-Layl for 20 years straight. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُم سُبُلَنَا. Those who struggle for the sake of Allah to achieve noble goals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala certainly will guide them to their goals, to achieve their goals. So what I want you to do is to keep struggling, keep trying. And if you woke up, alhamdulillah. If you did not, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness, and you have basically an alternative, which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, once he missed his witr, then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made it in the daytime, shafa'. Actually, after the sunrise, you can pray with an even number. Let's say you missed the 3 rak'ah that you pray in the night, you can pray it 4 in the daytime. But if you see that you, most of the time, you don't wake up for Fajr, you don't wake up for Tahajjud, sorry, most of the days, for very clear reasons, your job required you to sleep late, blah, blah, blah. In this case, alhamdulillah, you can pray your witr in the beginning of the day. And if you wake up in the night, you can pray 2 rak'ahs until the Fajr prayer comes, And it's been reported from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu arda that he saw the Prophet ﷺ pray 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, and so many scholars consider these 2 rak'ah were not the sunnah of the Fajr. It was 2 rak'ah in the night prayer, and he did this after the witr. There is another solution for this problem, which has also been reported by several companions, did that. They call it, the fuqaha, the Muslim jurists call it naqdul witr, which is Ibn Mas'ud did it, and other companion as well. So let's say you pray in the beginning of the night 5 rak'ahs. You wake up in the middle of the night and you want to pray, you pray 1 rak'ah to even out the number, so it becomes 6. Then you pray as much as you want, then you make another witr in there. But so many scholars said, the Prophet said, you should not pray 2 rak'ahs in one night. Now you made 3 witrs in one night. So they did not really support that. They considered this an action done by a companion, but the text that we have here, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, will be more proper to follow it and to avoid that. So the best basically choice for you will be, brother, to see if you, most of the time, let's say, alhamdulillah, 60-70% I make it and I woke up, that's fine, and keep doing that. Otherwise, you know what, make your witr at the beginning of the night, if you woke up late in the night, just pray even numbers. Salatul Layl, mathna. Night prayer is 2 rak'ahs.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for clarifying that. We have Sister Hadi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, sister, you're live on Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. And assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have 3 questions.
Okay.
My first question is that, is it permissible for a Muslim woman to travel without a mahram but with a family whom they know very well, and the mahram also allows them to go with her to go with them?
Okay, what do you mean by a family member? What is the relation?
No, not the family member, with a full family, which includes, like, they are family friends.
A whole family?
The whole family, but they are not relatives, they are just family friends, but they are very well known.
Okay.
Okay, and the family would travel together with the woman, with the girl, which would include the wife, the kids, and the husband also.
Okay.
And my second question is that I have heard that to make a decision, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has asked us that when we want to make some decision and we are confused in it, we should consult our well-wishers and then we should make istikhara.
Okay.
Fine. Is it an innovation in the religion that some people say that we can write the options available on small pieces of paper and then we can fold them and throw the pieces of paper and then choose one, and whichever option we get would be taken as a decision of God,
Okay.
like or the sign of God. Is this a bid'ah or is it recommended?
Okay.
And the third and last question is that I read somewhere, I don't remember, in a book or somewhere, that if we think something bad,
Okay.
whether a bad deed or to say something bad, but we don't say it, we don't speak it out, the angels on the left and right, they don't write it because we didn't make any sound, we didn't
Yes.
speak it out. It's not written. Does it also mean that when we are doing dhikr, if we are just doing it inside our heart, we are not making any sound from the lips, is it still not recorded?
Okay, interesting.
My last question.
Okay,
Thanks a
barakallahu
lot.
fiqh.
Thank you.
Yes, Sister Hadi there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Brother Idris from Nigeria, he wants to know if you can highlight some of the authentic sunnah that should be done in the month of Sha'ban.
Okay. As for the month of Sha'ban, which is coming very soon, what remind us for Ramadan to prepare ourselves for Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us life and strength to be able to enjoy the month of Ramadan, to fast it and to make qiyam during the month of Ramadan. As for the month of Sha'ban, it's been reported that the Prophet ﷺ used to fast a lot during this month. And also there is other narration saying that the Prophet ﷺ forbade us to fast during the month of Sha'ban. And the ulama said that this hadith, which is forbade us from month or not recommend us to fast during the month of Sha'ban, it's two categories. One, which is forbidden, which is the last days of Sha'ban. We call this the day of doubts, which is you don't know if tomorrow the 30th of Sha'ban or the beginning of Ramadan. That will be forbidden according to the strongest opinion among the scholars, because Nabi Sallallahu said, "Man sama yawm ash-shak faqad asa Abul Qasim." Whoever fasts the last day of Sha'ban have disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ. And after the 15th of Sha'ban, so many scholars said it will not be recommended for a person to fast unless a person has a habit of fasting Monday and Thursday and so on. Before that, the ulama said it's recommended from the beginning of Sha'ban all the way to the middle of Sha'ban, and that will be for an opportunity for the person to train himself or herself to get ready for the month of Ramadan. But there is no any other specific virtuals for the month of Sha'ban except a hadith. Some scholars have said it is sound, hadith and hasan, acceptable hadith, which is hadith related to the mid of Sha'ban. That in that day, in the mid of Sha'ban, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive to so many people, except those who they have hard feeling toward each other. And this is very beautiful. It makes the persons get rid of this hatred and jealous and envy and all these diseases in the heart before Ramadan comes. So you want to clean your heart. So your heart will be ready to fill it up with goodness.
Subhanallah.
To fill it up with goodness, because that's what Ramadan will do. That's as far as I remember now related to the month of Sha'ban.
Okay, we have Brother Hamza from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah.
Sir, pray for our family hidayat, please, sir.
Allahumma hadihim ya Rab. May Allah give them hidayah ya Rab.
Sir, I want to ask about first question is that two hadiths I heard, if it is sahih or not.
Okay.
First hadith is that I heard that one who prays Fajr and makes zikr till Ishraq and prays 2 rakat in the masjid, he will get the reward of Hajj and Umrah. Is this sahih?
I think you just mentioned the hadith on the show, right?
Yes, I just mentioned. I will answer it.
Okay. Okay.
And one more hadith is that the one who prays qabl Zuhr, before Zuhr 4 rakat and after Zuhr 4 rakat, fire will be haram for him.
Okay.
And one question is that if we apply oil in hair, then we do wudu. Is wudu our valid or not?
Okay. Okay, Jazakallah khair, Brother Hamza there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. If you can tackle his question right away, just because you just mentioned it. The one of the person who prays 2 rakats after Fajr, that's after the sun has risen.
Yes, after the sun is risen, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you pray Fajr, then you stay until the sunrise. Basically, stay doing dhikr until the sunrise. Then you pray 2 rak'ahs. The Prophet ﷺ said you will take the ajr of a complete perfect umrah, but not hajj and umrah. This hadith is said reported by Tirmidhi, and some scholar said it sound hasan, acceptable. Some said it is weak. So I would recommend you, if you do that, just pray inshallah the 2 rak'ahs, because it will be ad-duha, which is a recommended prayer anyway to pray at that time. As for the authenticity of hadith, wallahu a'lam, I don't consider it a strong hadith. Yes.
Okay, and let us look at the second question. He says the person who prays 4 rak'ahs before Salatul Dhuhr and after...
this is an authentic hadith, the one who pray. The hadith goes like this: Man dawama, whoever continuously pray 4 rak'ahs before Dhuhr prayer and 4 rak'ahs after Dhuhr prayers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade the fire to touch his skin or her skin. That hadith is a sound hadith. As for the last one, I think about the hair. For the oil, putting or applying oil in your hair, then you wipe over it for wudu. If this oil will prevent the water from touching your hair, any part of your hair, like let's say completely 100%, you're not going to touch any part of your hair. In this case, that's not acceptable. But let's say the water will touch part of your hair, even if it is a very small amount of hair, it will be valid, inshallah ta'ala. And try to avoid anyway using oil before the prayer time.
Okay, Sister Abdul Rahman from Kuwait, she wants to know if it's true that if someone makes hijrah, that he or she cannot return to his or her homeland for more than 3 to 5 days.
If someone make hijrah,
then they can return to their homeland for more than 3 to 5 days.
I really don't know, Rahman, what she means exactly by the word hijrah. I don't know what exactly that means.
From the question, we could understand that she's living in Kuwait and she's from the United States. So I think she migrated from the United States to Kuwait. I know she's asking on behalf of herself. But someone who migrated, for example, to the Middle East, for example, and they're living in the Middle East, can they return back home?
Yes, absolutely. You can go back home. If you want to go back home, you can go back home. I don't consider that a form of the hijrah that we talk about in the books of theologies, in the books of... inshallah, if you have the intention to leave a place that you feel your deen is weak and you cannot basically increase your iman in any place in the world, you move from that place to another place where you think you can, or you feel that you can protect your deen, you can increase your knowledge, that hijrah is acceptable. And thus hijrah, it is permissible. It can be even between 2 Muslim countries. It can be in the one country. It can be from one side of the city to another city. It can be from part of town to the other one. So in related to her, yes, you can go back. Let's say she moved to Kuwait and she want to go back to America or to whatever country that she came from. Yes, as long as you want to do that, and you need to do that, and that place that you're going to move back to is a place that you protect your deen in it, you can protect your religion in it, alhamdulillah, and you can practice your religion
what if the conditions of hijrah, that she's moving from a country that is difficult to practice Islam to a country where Islam is practiced easily? Can she return to take care of sick parents? That's the second part of her question.
If she want to go back for a reason, for a valid reason, yes. She is like, let's say there is a place where she cannot practice a religion, but she has to go back to that place because of necessities, like a father or parents are sick, as you mentioning. Yes, she is allowed to go to take care of them until this need, and then she leave, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Doctor. We have Sister Habiba from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live on Ask Other questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Go ahead.
May God bless you for the effort you are doing. May God give you goodness. Please, my question is, if you look around the world these days, even in Huda, some of the signs we see are one eye, representing maybe organizations and things like that. And then, like we heard about an organization called the Freemason. They also have this sign of one eye.
Okay.
Does this one eye have any relationship with the Adajjal?
Okay. Interesting question, Sister Habiba there from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair. Sister Abdul Rahman also wants to know if As-Sabru is one of the names of Allah.
No, As-Sabr is not a name. It's not a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, we have Brother Saleh from Switzerland, and he wants some advice, and if you can shed some light on this. He says some groups claim that khuruj is very important, and they encourage followers to go to visit places like the Indo-Pak continent, rather than going to Hajj. He wants to know, what is your opinion about this?
Okay. I think the brother was referring to the common meaning of khuruj, which is used commonly by a group called Jama'at al-Tabligh. And this khuruj, it can be really various from one group to another, from one place to another. Some places this khuruj, going outside, will contain visiting mosques which might have graves in it and things like this. It might be done in certain country in a form of people come together to have a class or a bayan, they call it, or a reminder, and so on. Here we have to know the following. One, this type of khuruj is not obligated, is not some in that form that they do. It has to be certain times, certain ways, with certain setup. There's somebody in the dhikr, somebody goes outside to make a visit, it's called jawla and stuff like that. This is something is not basically exists in the Quran or the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Yes, generally speaking, Islam encourages us to go outside, to remind people, to gather in masajid, to remind one another, but to put all these conditions and to put these forms and put rules and regulations for it from our own, we make things difficult. Islam make it easy, alhamdulillah, and smooth, and we making it difficult. So if the person do it in that, with this intention, I'm afraid that will be a form of innovations, and a person should not be doing it. But if a person will say, go outside and remind each others, if you're a person of knowledge, and you have knowledge, you can go and give them advice, basically remind the people who are gathering in this masjid, and that will be it, and alhamdulillah, if you can find other people who are closer to the sunnah, they have knowledge that they teach, I will advise you to be with such group.
Okay, we'll follow up on the question as well. We have Sister Asiya from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please.
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Sheikh Wali Bisami, welcome to live Huda TV.
Thank you.
I and my family always watch your lectures on peace and Huda TV.
Mashallah.
They are very beneficial and inspiring. May Allah reward for you that.
Ameen.
I have two questions. People say praying in masjid is not fun. This is especially when they come from their work and they are tired. They have a reason and they
You
pray
mean the men?
home.
The men?
Praying in masjid.
For men? For men.
For
Right?
men, yes, for
Okay.
men. And question number two. People pray fast and do other good righteous things, but as well as they listen to music, watch movies, and do some year in their sins also.
Okay.
What do you say about that, and how to deal with such persons? Jazakallah khair.
Okay. Barakallah fiqh. That's Sister Asiya there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We also have Brother Abdullah from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum. We just want to find about this. We have a lot of groups in Nigeria. They are called, we have North Fast, Ori, a lot of groups.
Okay.
They talk about Islam and they gather a lot of women with men to do this salatil, and they say they are doing a lot of
Okay.
things. You understand? We just want to find out from you people. Is it allowed in Islam for you to gather a group of people every Sunday? Every Sunday to do salat, to say you're doing salat, you are doing...
And what exactly is the salah, Brother Abdullah? What exactly is the salah they pray?
Is it?
What exactly do they do? They pray a prayer together?
They don't pray, they do a gathering.
Okay.
They just do a garden, they say they do preaching.
Okay. Okay, Brother Abdullah from Nigeria, Jazakallah khair. We also have Sister Aisha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, Sister. You're live on Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have a couple of questions to ask.
Okay.
The first is, when we give charity in the name of Allah, can we have the niyyah of giving the reward to our dead parents, ourselves, our spouses, our kids? Basically, can we have the niyyah of sharing the reward with multiple people on one single charity?
Okay.
And my second question is, like, for a woman when taking a shower after a major janazah, particularly like when taking a shower after menses, should we recite the dua Nawaitu Anastasila in Tisalan Liamrillahi Ta'ala?
Okay.
Do you know that dua?
Yes, okay.
As is the practice in India, I wanted to know if this is from the Sunnah.
Okay,
Okay, that's all.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Sister Aisha there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We'll take a short break here on Ask Huda and we'll be back right after this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We are excited to inform our viewers that the Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan will be filmed live starting on Mondays at 1800 GMT.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Quran, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That we reveal from the Quran what is cure and mercy to the believers. So the Quran is the cure physically to the diseases physically in the body and in the heart. We were ordered to recite Surah Al-Fatiha in every time we stand in the Salah, pillar of the Salah. We need to change our life according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us, according to this book. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that the Quran is the thing between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever holds fast to it, he would never be led astray.
We will take your calls and answer any questions you may have, as well as help you in your journey to understand the Quran properly. We hope you will join Huda TV and Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan every Monday from 1800 GMT until 1900 GMT for the Quran in Depth.
You know, sometimes it's important to take a break. We need to take a break. Take a break from what? From the everyday things to look at what we're really doing as Muslims. That's why we said we really need to have this program for you and for me to take a break right here on Huda TV. Stay with us because we've got a lot coming up on Take a Break.
I say that the translation has been indirectly influenced with the Israelite narrative.
We haven't faced any problems in our preparations.
We can't call it the wise Hajj. In Egypt, you have a huge amount of initiative going on in terms of developing qualifications in different parts of the system.
Reading helps you gain knowledge, but saving the net doesn't help you at all.
They are all welcome to participate in the discussion and the debate about the development of qualifications.
What types of books our children do or should read?
Join me for further discussion of Focus Point.
Huda, a light in every home.
It comes to you the truth and the attribute of the one who created you, that he's one and alone running this universe, that he doesn't become born, he doesn't die, he doesn't eat and then go to the bathroom. This is not God.
We got problems here. It doesn't make sense. Who was Jesus worshiping? Because it's recorded in the Gospels. Despite all of the other issues about the Gospels, we put those aside. We just say it's mentioned there that Jesus worshiped God.
One who protects us from hunger.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Huda. Just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers 00-202-38555, 248 or 249. Or you can write to us at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. Okay, Dr. Waleed, Brother Saleh from Switzerland, he says, is wudu a condition for reading the Quran?
Is wudu a condition for reading the Quran? Bismillah. There is a different opinion between the scholars about this issue as well. But all the scholars agree on one thing. It is recommended for the person to have wudu while reading the Quran. But it's not obligation. It's not obligation to have wudu while you're reading the Quran, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, and Brother Muhammad from Mauritania, he says, if a woman whose husband has no work and she is the sole breadwinner of the family, does she have the right to stop making children?
Say that again.
Okay, the woman, her husband doesn't have any work. She's the sole breadwinner. She's the one who earns for the family.
Yes.
He wants to know if she has the right to stop making children.
First of all, delaying having children. This is a decision must be done in coordination between the husband and the wife. It's not her solely decision or his decision. Number two, to say that I'm not going to have children at all, completely, for no reason, except that I'm afraid of poverty, let's say, I don't know how I'm going to take care of kids. That's something the Muslim scholars have almost agreed upon that is not allowed. That's not allowed. A person can organize, basically, the issue of pregnancy, giving breaks. When it reaches to a certain age, she is not recommended for her to get pregnant. The doctor said that's not recommended for such women to get pregnant. That's another case. But just like that, because I'm the one who's taking care of the house, I don't see this as an excuse or a legit reason for her to stop having pregnancy. If this been said, also I have an advice for her husband, that you should take care of your wife. And this is your responsibility to work and to earn and to provide for your wife. That's not your wife's responsibility. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give men al-qawama. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favor men for that reason, because they are the one who should take care of the house and take care of the family. So that's something that he should work hard and to find a job to provide for his family. And I would like to say, and thank you, sister, for supporting your family and taking care of your family. That's a very noble thing of you, and I hope, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for it.
Ameen. Ameen. Brother Sai from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he wants to know about Ya'juj and Ma'juj. He wants to know if they will occupy just one continent or the whole world.
Yes, I think that was the first caller. As for Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the hadith are very clear that they will occupy the whole entire earth. That there is nothing, nobody among the people of earth will be left, or any urban areas, until those people will come and occupy their land and take over their land. And they will kill anybody other than them. And the people, humanity at that time, the Muslims, because the only one will be left on earth at that time will be the believers. That will come after the death of basically of the false Messiah, the Dajjal, and in the time of Jesus, in the time of Al-Mahdi. So the Muslim will be hiding inside caves and in the mountains, that they will never dare to come down to urban areas. They will leave the whole entire world for them. So that shows us that basically they will occupy the whole entire world.
Okay, and he wants to know if there's a contradiction, because it is said in the time of the Mahdi there will be peace and tranquility and justice, but in the time of the Dajjal there will be uproar and war and injustice. And he said, how can the two happen at the same time?
There's no contradictions, and we always should think of the Prophet ﷺ's hadith in the best manners. As Ali radiallahu anhu said, فَظُنُّوا بِهِ الَّذِي هُوَ أَهْنَاهُ وَأَهْدَاهُ وَأَتْقَاهُ. Always think good of the Prophet ﷺ's statement. As for the period that Al-Mahdi's, it was mentioned related to Al-Mahdi that it will be full of justice and best tranquility, and this will be after the death of Ad-Dajjal, because Al-Mahdi will be alive after the death of Ad-Dajjal.
Okay, and he says, why do Imam And I could say like yourself then. No, it doesn't speak about the Dajjal that often. Is it because they're afraid of mentioning about the Khilafah?
I don't see the connection between the Khilafah and the Dajjal, but I say it's very hard for a person to say that. Why, Imam, they don't talk about Dajjal? That's not quite maybe I don't know, accurate. Or I didn't have a statistic, so I wouldn't debate your claim if it's correct or not. I myself talked about Dajjal several times in my masjid. Yes, we don't talk about it often because we have a lot of other Dajjals that we talk about other than the big one that will come at the end of the days. We have a lot of false hood that it needs to be clarified. A lot of doubts need to be dealt with. And so many Muslims may be caught up with these things that happen in daily life, and to clear it, to talk about it, that's maybe forgot to talk about Dajjal. But I join my voice to yours and say we should mention the issue of Dajjal, the doubts that he will bring, the desire, the basically the way he will deceive people, because we can learn a lot from it, how to face so many of the trials of today as well.
Okay, Brother Rashid from Somalia, he wants to know the role of Islam and Muslims in democratic elections.
First of all, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help my Somali brothers and sisters to first of all protect their bloods, to protect their countries, and to bring unity to them. It's really very sad what we see in the news on a daily basis about people dying left and right, people attacking each other, shooting at each other. And the last thing I want to see this dear part of the Muslim world to my heart, coming back to the old days with the civil war and the divisions and all these things that so many of the elders and people my age remember as well. So that's one thing to say. Two, I also would like to take advantage of this broadcast and give a message to all the Muslim in Somalia to put down the weapons and to take civil ways of communicating with each other. That the blood of a Muslim is forbidden, is haram. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu arda, when he saw Al-Kaaba and he saw it so beautiful, he said, you're a very secret place, you're a secret building, but what is more secret than you, what is more important than you is the Muslim. The blood of the Muslim to be protected. It's been narrated that the Prophet and Nasai and others, that لَزَوَالُ الدُّنْيَا أَهْوَنُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ, that it's easier in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes, the destructions of this whole entire world is easier than killing an innocent Muslim or killing your Muslim brothers. So this war is not going to bring any good to anyone. I ask you all to put the weapons down and use the language of mercy, the language of wisdom, that this will take you somewhere. And if this has been said, if elections in your country will determine who is really the people want to lead, and they will elect people based on a qualification that's according to the Quran and Sunnah, yes, that's a legal process, and it is acceptable, The word democratic elections, it's a vague word. It's a vague word. The concept of choosing your leaders, that the Muslim society or community have the right to determine who will lead them, who will be their leaders. It's an Islamic concept, is a correct concept, and it is known in the Islamic laws, books of fiqh, as al-bay'ah, and the books of theology and aqidah, they talk about it, and so on. So if this is the case, yes it is. We encourage that. I would love to see a government to come in place that the people, the public, the masses of in Somalia will agree upon and will choose, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, and Somalia was known for the memorizers of the Quran, subhanallah.
Yes.
Okay, Sister Hadi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, she wants to know if it's okay for her to travel without a mahram, but with a family who's a friend, which consists of the wives and daughters, and with the permission of the mahram. Is this okay?
The general rules, sister, what the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يحل لامرأة تؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر. It's not permissible for a woman believing in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without mahram. That's generally speaking. This is the rules that just be the default rule.
Yeah.
But in cases, especially in modern days, where we found, for example, her father, her parents, the children never saw their grandparents in their life, and the husband now work, for example, in a country that he cannot offer. He cannot completely, doesn't have enough money to travel with them and come back to work. Most of companies, they wouldn't give like a 2 months vacations or so on. In cases like this, or your family member is sick, your aunt, your uncle, your father or mother, your son sometimes, your husband is sick and you want to go visit him. In this case, I personally see it is permissible for the woman to travel with the following condition. One, a permission from her wali, her father or her husband. Two, that she will go, she knows how to travel. She knows how to manage traveling. So if she's traveling to the west, she knows how to speak, or there is a safe path, basically, for her to reach her destiny. And there is a need, an absolute need for that. Not for just, you know what, I just want to have fun or a vacation or anything. No, if you want to have vacation and fun, you know what, your husband should be with you. Your basically mahram should be with you.
Okay, her second question is about making a decision, and she's actually asking about istikhara, where the Prophet ﷺ advised to seek advice from people and from friends, and then making the salah istikhara. She says in her tradition, they also tell her to write it on pieces of paper, her decisions, and then put it all together and just choose one, and whatever she chooses, that's the one from Allah. Is there anything authentic?
No, as for picking a paper or picking a straw or anything like that, that's not from the practice of Islam. That's remind me of the practice of the Jahiliyyah, the ignorant days. You pick straw and whatever, you go left or you go right. Islam is a very logical religion. It's really, first of all, you make your decision based on studying those two options. You want to choose a career, you want to choose a husband or for your daughter or for yourself or a wife or two cars you want to buy. Islam doesn't say you go just make istikhara which car I buy. No, Islam tells you look at your budget, the compare between this car and the other one, look at the advantage, disadvantage, and based on this you make the decision. After you make the decision, you pray the istikhara, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless your decision. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the evil of that decision that you made. Let's say you choose the wrong one. You ask Allah to protect you from it and so on. As for picking a paper, no, this has no base in Islam.
Okay, she also says that when someone think bad, or think that something, her idea or a bad thought comes to her mind, it's not recorded by the angels. So what about a person who does dhikr in his mind? Is it recorded by the angels?
The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold us accountable for any evil thoughts unless we talk or act. And on the other hand, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever intend to do good deeds but he or she never did it, Allah will reward them for it. Allah will reward them for it. I remember she asked something about the dhikr. When she say dhikr silently, would be rewarded for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Man dhakarani fi nafsi, dhakartuhu fi nafsi." Whoever mentioned me within himself, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention him as well. So the ulama said, when he said within himself, not necessarily by pronouncing or moving his tongue, just by heart or thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's one form of dhikr.
Okay, Dr. Walid Al-Basyouni, Jazakallah khair for your time on Ask Huda, and we do hope to have you many more times, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, to all the viewers who tuned in today and who called, we would like to say Jazakallah khair. And don't forget, if you have a question, you can write to us at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. And don't forget, you can support Huda by just writing to us, support@huda.tv. Or you can write to us and visit our website, www.huda.tv. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.